Now we'll see next tool, that is nothing but Apache Flume. Okay, so here Apache Flume is that's an independent agent designed to collect, transfer and store the data into HDFS. So what is that is nothing but here suppose you have some source. Okay, so source is there, it is continuously generating some kind of data. Okay, and that data you want to store inside your HDFS. So consider as a Google search engine or Yahoo, anything, whatever you are searching it, or continuously or generating some kind of data, that is maybe some question, okay, or something you are inserting inside a database of a Google or anything. So that is something but continuously you are generating it. So this data you want to keep it inside a HDFS. So whatever continuous source of information are there, that is any social media, okay, Facebook or anything, so their continuous data source are there, those things are generating continuously data, those you want to keep it inside a HDFS. So for that purpose this Flume came. Okay, so what it will do is it's nothing but, so whatever source is there, from that source and HDFS one agent will be used. Okay, that agent itself we are saying is a Flume. So in this Flume we have three things, that is nothing but first one is again source. Okay, that is, this is nothing but information whatever we are getting here. Okay, and here we are saying as a source is nothing but where you are connected from this outside world to this one, and there is a point of contact, that is nothing but source. Okay, so here point of contact whatever is there that is connected, here you are getting the information, actual information. So this is the source, and this source, from this source to the here in HDFS you have to keep it. So whatever you are getting the information here, it's nothing but it's a continuously information you are getting, this is a reading speed. Okay, and whatever you want to keep it here in HDFS, it is something about a writing speed you required. So reading speed and writing speed, if you compare, always writing speed will be less compared to the reading speed. So for that purpose intermediate, two more things will come. First one is chalan. So n number of things you read it, that all things you are keeping inside a channel. Okay, and one by one you are reading from the channel, this is nothing but sync. So task of this one is one by one things you will read it from the channel and you will write into HDFS. So task of sync is nothing but writing part from the reading from the channel. Okay, this is the basic one. Okay, so that is nothing but we are saying as a here Flume has three components. Okay, same thing, there is no source, channel and sync. Okay, source is nothing but here it's always component receives the data and send it to the channel. And one more thing is here is there is nothing but it can send the data to the more than one channel. So how it can send and why you can send more than one channel is here, suppose here one more channel is there. Okay, so data is sending here also, but if you saw sync, okay, so from one channel only it will receive it. So why you are sending to the one more channel here is, it is maybe in HDFS you have different nodes, so at a time you want to keep the data from more than one node. Okay, so almost while in configuration of HDFS only by default, okay, it will keep the data in minimum 3 times. Okay, that is something but in 3 nodes same data will be kept. Okay, this already we studied in first model. Okay, so just I will go ahead. So here this data you will keep in multiple times, same data you will keep it. So by default it will be kept in HDFS 3 times. Okay, so like that if you want to keep it, so that time this source you can send it to the multiple channels, more than one channel. Okay, then task of channel is nothing but it will be kept inside a one buffer is there, that is nothing but queue is there, there you are keeping the all the data. Okay, so and this data will be given to the sync, and task of sync is nothing but read it, the task from the channel and write it into the HDFS. Okay, so here, or instead of writing, what it can do is it can give to the one more Flume agent, that is nothing but you can send it to the one more Flume agent. How it is we will check it later now. Okay, so here this is the basic one. Again, there's something but web server is there, from that web server you are getting the this agent, Flume agent is there, you are getting the information you are keeping inside the channel, then from channel you are reading into the sync, and from sync you are writing to the HDFS. Okay, so now This is what same whatever we discussed now. Okay, so now we'll see. So here from one agent to one more agent we are transferring. Okay, that is nothing but sync. Instead of writing to the HDFS, it's what it's doing is it's sending to the one more agent. Okay, that is one more agent is nothing but one more agent's source it will give it. So there is nothing but data transfer of this agent to this agent will happen. So there is whatever input we are getting it, some kind of performance it will be done. So continuously whatever it's coming it will take it, it will keep it here. That slower rate whatever writing into, instead of writing into the HDFS, it will keep inside a one more agent. So this whatever transformation is happening data from one place to the one more place, that will call as a AVRO. Okay, AVO. Okay, so there's something what here you can use one more protocol, that is nothing but RPC, remote procedure call. You can use it to implement this one. Okay, so now here from one agent to one more agent we are transferring it like this. You can have one agent is getting from the multiple agents information. Okay, that is nothing but in one place you are doing is the some aggregation kind of things. It is the consolidation you are doing it, and you are keeping into the actually HDFS. So here if you saw one, two, three agents are there, that is continuously taking from the web server. Okay, so from those things you will be having the sync nodes. All three have the sync nodes. These sync nodes will be given to the one more agent, that is source. Okay, so from here it will again take it one by one and it will give to the channel, and it will send to the sync. From that you are storing inside a actual HDFS. So to implement this one we required Flume tool. Okay, so that will be installed, and you can use Flume tool by running again basic commands on a Flume. Now we'll see next tool, that is Apache Scoop. Here is nothing but first two tools whatever we saw, that is Pig and Hive. There is nothing but you are giving a privilege to the users, that is nothing but developers to use HDFS, and those developers were comfortable with RDBMS. Okay, but before the Hadoop or HDFS, okay, there was a lot of data which are stored in RDBMS. So that data has to be transferred to the HDFS, or now you are using the HDFS and maybe in future something is required, so that data has to be transferred to the HDFS to the RDBMS. Okay, vice versa. Okay, so here you want to transfer some data which are already existing one is there, that is nothing but from the RDBMS to the HDFS. So for that purpose transfer of data on tool came, that is nothing but Scoop. Okay, this is nothing but here we can say as a import and export kind of things, importing some data to the Hadoop or exporting data from the Hadoop. Okay, so that is nothing but it's mainly relevant to the SQL. And if you saw this name, how this name came is nothing but it's combination of SQL and Hadoop. So first two words SQ, that is nothing but part of SQL, and last three letters are the from the part of the Hadoop. Okay, so here this is nothing but SQ double OP Scoop. Okay, so here this is a tool between transfer of data between Hadoop and relation database only. Okay, so you can import it or export it. So now so we'll go for one by one. There is nothing but for the import, Scoop import. So there's nothing but we are seeing as a so importing to the HDFS. Okay, so here whatever data is there in RDBMS, that you have to import to the Hadoop. There is nothing but HDFS node storage, you have to import it. So there are two steps are there. First step is nothing but in RDBMS whatever metadata is there, that metadata it will gather it and it will be given to the nodes for a mapping purpose. Okay, that is nothing but we are saying as a from the metadata you analyze it how many actual physical storage or nodes are required to map it and keep it. Okay, so there is nothing but here all these mappers are assigned. Okay, so depending on this thing, you may require one or two nodes that will be analyzed. That is nothing but it's part of scoop job, complete scoop job. Okay, so here it will analyze it, then it will say how many nodes are required. So then it will completely map the data to the actually hard disk or storage places. Okay, so this is nothing but first step is extract the metadata, that is nothing but gather the metadata, then submit to the map job only map job. Here in HDFS we have map and reduce both things, but here we don't want to reduce anything, we don't want to aggregate some data or anything. Okay, so just it's a mapping, nothing but take the data and keep it. So just we'll use the map job only. Okay, so here just what we are doing is just that whatever data is there from the RDBMS we are keeping it into the HDFS. Okay, and second one is reverse of this one. Okay, this is the steps, it's given whatever I have explained. Same thing, it's nothing but it will take the metadata first step. Second step, it will transfer the actual data. Okay, the second one is export, that is nothing but reverse of this one. So here reverse of this one is nothing but already data is there, this data you want to move it to the RDBMS. Okay, so here what we are doing is whenever you are storing inside a storage here, that is in HDFS, always it will be stored in terms of folders. Okay, and RDBMS always refers in terms of database. Okay, that is nothing but one database will be there, in that you will be having the some number of tables, and here this is nothing but you will be having folder and subfolders. So that main folder whatever we are saying is that will be corresponding to that from this one to the here, that is a database. Okay, so this whatever folders are there here, that is considered as one main folder, from that we'll create one database, and subfolders are the tables inside that. Like that you can create it. So that is nothing but again it's a gathering of something information, that is nothing but again we are saying as a metadata only. Okay, it gathers the how it is arranged. Okay, so that is it will take it, that is a metadata, then actual data will be transferred it. So whatever inside that text file or any file is there, that will be converted in terms of rows and columns here. Okay, so that mapping part in detail we are not studying, but it will transport it. Okay, so here again we require just transfer of data from one place to the one more place. So only map part will be used. Again we are not using reduce part. Okay, so here again you will be having whatever configuration is there, that configuration is considered as the metadata, then you are using the actual map part only. So this is nothing but reverse of import. So you always whenever you are doing it, that time this always whenever you are doing from RDBMS to storage, so database will be converted in terms of folder names, and whenever you are doing reverse of this one, that is storage HDFS storage to RDBMS, so all folder names are converted into database here, reverse. Okay, so now we'll see the example. Okay, so here first you should have scoop downloaded. Okay, and you have to give permission. Okay, that is nothing but from SQL. Okay, so you want to read entire your metadata plus your data, you want to read it, so you have to grant the permission first. Okay, so to the scoop, so here what we are doing is for a scoop user we are giving the permission, that is nothing but grant all privileges on database, that particular database name you can give it to, this is nothing but where it will installed it, Luminous. Okay, and this is nothing but internal IP addresses. Okay, so here we are giving as this is a scoop as a username and password also username. Okay, so we'll come out of this one, that is nothing but will come out of MySQL prompt, just we'll give the permissions. Okay, then actually here import and export, two things we will see it, and this is the first one is import, second one is the export. First one we'll see, that is nothing but import, how to import the data. So in HDFS we are saying as a okay, HDFS DFS, so this is a command we are giving it, and that is nothing but we are creating one folder, that is nothing but you want to import it. So RDBMS whatever database is there, that you have to keep it in folder, so you are creating a mkdir folder, that's for folder name. Okay, so you can give any folder name, then just we'll see one example. Okay, so here how it will be, there is nothing but actual import part, So what we're doing is scoop import, then we are saying is a connect, where you have to connect this is whatever database is there, to that you have to connect it. Then this username we already given as a scoop, password also we given as a scoop. Then we are saying as a, so whatever table name is there, the table name you have to keep it where, in this folder. Okay, so there is nothing but target folder where you have to keep it. So, and one more thing is here is m1. There is a m1 is nothing but we're saying as a use mapping 1. So one node use as a mapping, so you can give that instead of one some different number, maybe 2 3 4 like that. Okay, so depending on situation how much data size is there, developers will come to know and they will give the different numbers here. And this is nothing but how many multiple copies also you can keep it internally, that also it reflects. Okay, so reverse of this one, that is nothing but export. Okay, so here same thing, there is nothing but folder name will be there. Okay, there is no file is there. Okay, then that file will consider the table name, and from the folder you are creating a one database. Okay, so here if you saw, just we are giving as a m4 now, but you have 4 nodes, from that 4 nodes create one database. Okay, so if you saw in this image figure here, what we did is you had 4 nodes. So these all things, whatever data is there, all thing together in RDBMS we are creating one database only. So in this one database you may have a number of tables again. Okay, like that we are creating it. Okay, this is all about scoop. Next tool is, that is Apache HBase. So here thing, but this HBase idea came from actually Google's Bigtable. Okay, so there's nothing but Google maintains whatever search engine, whatever you are searching in Google, that is nothing but you have different fields, that is maybe a file or image or video, audio, like that. For different kind of things we don't have any particular schema in their database. Okay, so there we don't have particular column names for a schema. Okay, so this is nothing but it's a non-relational database is there. Okay, so with this basic idea Apache HBase came. Okay, so it's whatever big table, Google's Bigtable, whatever is providing, that all features are provided by the HBase also. Okay, and plus little bit extra more things are added. So here this HBase has the capability of same as that of Bigtable. Whatever Bigtable, Google Bigtable has it there. So here we are saying is a this non-relational database. So what is non-relational database? It means this is nothing but column major. Normally relational database have the row major. There is nothing for columns are fixed. There is a column names are fixed. Okay, just we are entering the rows there. Okay, values are we are entering it. But here we are not fixed the columns only. So you can add on flying, just you can add one column and you can give the values. If suppose you want to give in a relational database any column you want to add it, so you have to alter the table. But whenever altering the table, so whatever existing values are there, that is existing rows are there, for those also you have to prescribe some default value or you have to mention as a null. Okay, so either of those two you have to do it. But here we don't want to give any value, we don't want to mention anything. Okay, directly on flying, just we want to add one column directly and we can store the information related to that. And here in this one, randomly whenever we required we'll add a column and we'll enter the values for particular row. Okay, or particular cell we can say it. So what is that, we'll see the difference. Okay, so directly we're entering it and we're getting the storing the values. So this is what main difference between RDBMS and here whatever we're going to use in HBase. Okay, so here this the what all the important features it provides is nothing but it's a scalability and main modular linear and modular scalability it will give it. So you can keep it in more number of places in that sorry, more number of different kinds of data you can keep it. Okay, and strictly consistent reads and writes it will happen, and automatic and configurable shading of table. Okay, so what is shading of table is nothing but table is there. In this table, part of the table you want to keep it, or part of the table only you want to modify or do something else. So those kind of things we're calling as a shading. There's nothing but just whatever partition is there, that partition we are saying is a shading of a table. Okay, so here, so automatic and configurable shading of table we can do it. So in this part only you can do it. So instead of doing on entire part, and that's why we are saying it is a column measure, only that part only you can do it. Okay, so automatic failover support between region and server. Okay, and it's easy to use Java API for client access. So next thing is here. So as I was discussing, this is the normally HBase will be having some rows and columns, same as that of RDBMS, but it has a column families. So instead of just we are saying as a column, it has a column families. So there is nothing but prefix will be the same. So after that you can give different names. So for example, if I have a price as a one column family, so I can enter different members for that. That is nothing but we can say as a uh, price open, price close, price low, price high. These are the four actual columns we can add it. So but we are mentioning while creating a table or creating a database, we can mention only column family. You can mention it. There is nothing but only you can mention is a price, but you can add that is a price open also, price close also, price low, price high, like that. Some information you can add it to the different these columns, actual columns. Okay, and maybe you may not have family only. There is a column family only, you may not be having it. Only one particular column will be there. Okay, for example, we have volume. Okay, so in that only particular value you have. Okay, you don't want to divide anything as a there's a prefix, give it, and after that we don't want to give any particular values. Okay, so and here in HBase we have row key. So in relational database you had as a primary key. So that primary key is used to identify the individual rows in the table. Okay, so like that here we have row key. So in that row key it may be a combination of more than one column plus and something version, or only version you can use it. Okay, so depending on situation it will be used. Okay, so here maximum times it will be having as a for a column you will be having once in a column, and in a row you will be having some cell. From that cell, whenever you are modifying the data, timestamp will be used. The timestamp also can be used as a row key. So to differentiate between the different column value and row value, so this timestamp will be used. So every time whichever cell, actual cell you are modifying it, so that will be used as a row key. And this cell, whatever we are giving the information, so that cell maintains the all versions of values. So here it doesn't mean that if I already it has a value as a 10, so next I want to modify it as a 20, so it keeps the value, previous value as a 10 also, that is with one timestamp, and new value as a 20 also with new timestamp. Okay, so it keeps all the versions of particular cell. Okay, so now we'll see how HBase is used. Okay, so HBase, so shell you have to run it, that is the thing, but then it will give the shell prompt, that is another thing, but you are getting as a HBase bucket main. So here this is a time. Okay, so that's nothing but we are getting the time. So just if you want to see the system status, we'll give the system as a one command, then it will give the, so 4 servers are running, 0 are dead. So average load time, that is for 1 second it took it to give the answer. Okay, so now here we are saying is a want to create a table. Okay, so to create a table, what we are doing is just we are saying as a create. Okay, so here apple, whatever we are given is this nothing but table name. Okay, and we are giving as a two columns. Okay, first one is the price, second one is the volume. So here price we are using as a column family. Okay, so this price has, again as we discussed, four things, that is price open, price high, price low, price close. Like that you have actual four columns. But if you saw while creating a table, okay, just we are giving this much only, so we are not specifying the schema particularly. So if you specified schema particularly, it's nothing but RDBMS. Then their particular column names are there, but here we are not mentioning any particular column names. So while inserting the values, just you are giving the whatever different columns you want to add it, that also on fly you are just giving the column name, then you are inserting the values also. Okay, so this is, if you are familiar with Python, in object oriented class creating, you will create a different fields inside your class object. Okay, so there is nothing but here this, since I'm comparing this one with Python, because this backend is again is written using Python only. Okay, so that time, so by default whatever you are giving here, so that time it will take automatically one by one fields and it will add it. Okay, so here we will take one example. This one is, this is apple is a table. Okay, these two are the column families. Okay, so here in this one we are not writing, we are not dividing anything, just we are keeping as a simple column. So and price is the column family, and now we want to insert one row. This entire thing together is our one row. Okay, so here we have a command as a put. This is a table name apple, then we are giving the date. This is nothing but our row key. So along with this one timestamp, internally it will be taken. Okay, so here just we are mentioning the date here, then we are giving the column name. Okay, that is column name is price colon open. This is nothing but in this one we are mentioning different columns now. So that is 4 columns we mentioned it: open, high, low, close. So for those columns we are giving the values. Those all 4 values will be inserted. Then for a volume also we are inserting it. So here for a volume we are inserting this entire thing together, one row in a table we inserted. Okay. Okay, now we'll see how to inspect the database. That is nothing but just we want to see the how database has, that is nothing but here scan command will use it, scan table name. So, okay, so here it's giving us a, so in this one we inserted only one row, so that row it's mentioning it, that row we had as a this one same thing, that is nothing but 6 May 2015. Okay, so here along with this one, if you saw timestamp, automatically whatever while inserting here, automatically it took the timestamp. We are not entered it, but it's took it. Okay, so that timestamp it's displaying it. Okay, and particular column wise whatever it is there, column name, then particular values it is giving it. So here for a one row, all the information whatever is there stored, that it's giving it. So now here we'll see so how to get the one row values only. Okay, so here one row values, what we are doing is just we are saying as a in get this table this row values. Okay, so here we have again these columns, it will give the column names, then cell. In this cell whatever values are there, that will give it. So in this cell it's maintaining this timestamp, then actual value. So if after some time if I modified, so suppose this high, if I modified instead of 126, suppose I modified as something else. Okay, so that time it will be keeping the both versions. So this is the old version and new whatever value I will give it, that also it will keep it. So both versions it will keep it, and newer one always it will display using this one. So you have different methods to extract the old versions of values also. So each cell, that is nothing but inside a table whatever we will be having, each cell, so this each cell you can have the timestamp, and for each cell you will be having the versions. So those all versions will be, you can extract it. So here we saw we are getting the 5 rows, it's saying it, but actually in our table we have only one row, that is nothing but row, that is row key with 6 May 15. Okay, so this has 5 columns, so those 5 columns it's displaying it. Okay, now we'll see how to get a single cell. Okay, so that is nothing but, so here we are giving as a get as table name, then row key, then particular column name we are giving it. If you want to read more than one column, here it's maybe 2 columns, so separated by comma you can give it, comma second column you can give it. Okay, so here we're giving us a column. There is nothing but whatever column we were extracting, that is price colon low, then particular timestamp, and then particular value. If you have more than one columns you are extracting, here only below second column name will come, the corresponding values, cell value time with timestamp it will come at. Okay, now we will see how to delete a row. That is nothing but delete all we have to use it. There is nothing but here we are saying as a for in this row key. Okay, so whatever columns are there, that columns entire information you have to delete it. Okay, so here we have that's why command as a delete all. That is nothing but with respect to all columns this is. Okay, so here table name, then key value you are giving it, so it will delete the all the corresponding that one single row, all the column information, because this is a column major. Okay, now we'll see how to remove a table. So here before removing the table, to remove a table we have to use drop command. Okay, so before that we have to use as a disable the table name. Okay, so why we are giving as a disable is something, but this is in whatever we are there, this will be stored inside a HDFS. Okay, so this HDFS is connected to the different nodes. So those all nodes which are referring this table has to be disconnected. To do that one we are using as a disable. Okay, so disable this table, so it will disconnect it, then drop it. So if without this one, if you are doing it, it's nothing but still that node thinks as a, this kind of table is there. Okay, to avoid that kind of confusion, always we have to use the disable first, then drop the table. So this is about HBase.